Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you're into coin collecting, then you're in for a real treat today. We're going to be talking about a penny that most people might overlook when they check their spare change, the 1973 Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about a 1973 penny? Well, it turns out that there's a rare version of this coin that could be worth a staggering $1.5 million. That's right. A simple penny from 1973 could be worth more than $1 million, and in this video, we're going to uncover the history, the value, and the special error that makes this coin so valuable. Let's dive in. Before we talk about what makes the 1973 Lincoln penny special, let's quickly go over the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin was designed by artist Victor David Brenner, who created the iconic portrait of Lincoln that has been featured on the obverse side of the coin ever since. In fact, the Lincoln penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a portrait of a sitting president. Over the years, the design of the Lincoln penny has gone through some changes, particularly on the reverse side of the coin. The original reverse design featured two wheat ears, and this design was used on the coin from its introduction in 1909 until 1958. After that, the design changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, which remained on the reverse of the penny until 2009. In 1973, the Lincoln penny was still using the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had been in circulation since 1959. However, as you'll see in a moment, the 1973 penny became known for something else, an error that would later make certain versions of it worth a fortune. Most of the 1973 Lincoln pennies you will come across today are nothing out of the ordinary. Millions of these pennies were minted, and like most modern pennies, they're worth their face value of 1 cent. In fact, a typical 1973 Lincoln penny in good condition will usually only fetch a few cents, depending on its wear and tear. But what if I told you that there's a rare version of this very same penny that has a much higher value? While most 1973 pennies are worth next to nothing beyond their face value, a rare error that occurred during the minting process could cause certain 1973 Lincoln pennies to be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. So, what is the error that makes the 1973 Lincoln penny so valuable? It's all about a rare mistake that happened during the coin's production, an error known as the double die or double strike error. This error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times during the minting process, resulting in a design that appears doubled or misaligned. In the case of the 1973 Lincoln penny, some coins were struck with the double die error, which caused the letters and numbers on the coin to appear doubled. Most notably, the error was visible in the word liberty and the phrase "in God we trust" on the obverse of the coin, where you could clearly see the design elements duplicated or shifted. This type of error is rare, and as you might expect, collectors go crazy for these kinds of mistakes. The reason why the 1973 Lincoln penny with a double die error is so valuable is because double die error coins are highly sought after in the world of coin collecting. These errors are not only rare, but they also make a coin stand out in a way that regular coins don't. The more distinct the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. In fact, one particular 1973 Lincoln penny with the double die error was sold at auction for an unbelievable $1.5 million, setting a record for this year's coin. Now that we know there's a rare version of the 1973 Lincoln penny worth a small fortune, how can you tell if you have one? Here are a few key things to look for when inspecting your 1973 pennies for the double die error. 1. Look for doubling on liberty and "in God we trust." The most obvious sign of a double die error is the doubling of the inscriptions. On a regular 1973 penny, the word liberty and the phrase "in God we trust" should be sharp and clear, but on a penny with the double die error, you might notice that the letters are slightly blurry or doubled. This effect can often be seen in the top or bottom part of each letter, creating a shadow effect. 2. Examine the date. The year 1973 on the coin could also show signs of doubling. Carefully examine the numbers up if you notice any duplication or shadows around the digits. This is a clear indication that the coin may have a double die error. 3. Conditi. Hello, Coin collectors and history enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that might seem pretty ordinary at first glance but could actually be hiding a huge potential value via the 1993 Lincoln penny. While most people might think of a penny as being worth just 1 cent, there's a rare version of the 1993 Lincoln penny that's worth a whole lot more, specifically, $1.4 million. In this video, we'll dive deep into the history of the 1993 Lincoln penny, what makes it so valuable, and how you could have a coin worth over $1 million without even realizing it. Stick around, and let's find out how a simple penny could be your next big treasure. Before we get into the 1993 Lincoln penny specifically, let's take a brief look at the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has become one of the most iconic coins in American history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a portrait of a president. For many years, the design of the Lincoln penny remained relatively unchanged. The obverse of the coin, which features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, has been a constant symbol of American history. On the reverse side, however, the design has evolved several times. For example, in 1959, the reverse was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, which remained on the coin until 2009 when the reverse design was updated to a shield. In 1993, however, there were no major design changes to the penny. The 1993 Lincoln penny continued with the familiar design that had been in place since 1959, at the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, and President Lincoln's profile on the obverse. While this penny may have seemed ordinary at the time, it was still an important part of the ongoing history of U.S. coinage. The 1993 Lincoln penny, like most pennies, was minted in vast quantities. Over 8 billion of them were made that year at the U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver. Most of these pennies are worth their face value of just 1 cent. In fact, a regular 1993 Lincoln penny in good condition will typically fetch only a few cents, depending on the state of preservation. So why are we talking about the 1993 Lincoln penny as though it could be worth millions of dollars? That's because, like with many other coins, there are certain rare versions of the 1993 penny that can be worth a fortune. And as with most valuable coins, it all comes down to an error or a minting mistake that makes these specific pennies unique and highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's get into the exciting part of what makes certain 1993 pennies worth so much money. It all comes down to a rare error that occurred during the minting process. This error is known as a double die error, which results in a design being struck onto the coin multiple times, causing the image to appear doubled or misaligned. This minting mistake can be found in a variety of coins, but in the case of the 1993 Lincoln penny, it is one of the most valuable. When a coin experiences the double die error, it typically causes doubling to occur on certain parts of the design, such as the inscriptions on the coin. In the case of the 1993 Lincoln penny, the error was particularly noticeable on the word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust" on the obverse side of the coin. If you were to look closely at one of these rare pennies, you might see that the letters seem blurry or appear twice, creating a shadow effect. This type of doubling is a result of the coin being struck more than once, with the second strike being slightly out of alignment with the first. But why does this make the coin so valuable? Well, double die error coins are incredibly rare, and collectors are always on the lookout for these unique mistakes. The rarity of these error pennies, combined with the historical significance of the 1993 Lincoln penny, makes these coins highly desirable. In fact, one particularly rare 1993 Lincoln penny with the double die error was sold at auction for an astonishing $1.4 million. This sale set a new record for the value of a modern penny and sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these rare and valuable 1993 Lincoln pennies? While most 1993 pennies are worth only a few cents, there are a few things to look for that might indicate you have an error coin with the potential for high value. 1. Look for doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust. The most obvious sign of a double die error is the "Welcome back" everyone. If you're a coin collector or simply someone who loves discovering hidden treasures, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about a very special coin, the 1989 Lincoln penny. Now, you may be thinking, what's so extraordinary about a 1989 penny? Well, this coin could be worth far more than just its face value of 1 cent, specifically, up to $1.6 million. In this video, we'll explore the history of the 1989 Lincoln penny, what makes certain versions of it so valuable, and how you might be holding onto a coin that could change your life. So, stick around, and let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1989 Lincoln penny. Before we get into the specifics of the 1989 penny, let's take a quick look at the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909, was created to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin was designed by artist Victor David Brenner, and it became the first U.S. coin to feature a portrait of a sitting president. This iconic design remains on the penny to this day. Throughout the years, the Lincoln penny has gone through several design changes, particularly on the reverse side of the coin. Originally, the reverse featured 2 ears of wheat, a design that was used until 1958. After that, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, which remained on the coin until 2009. When it was replaced by a new design featuring a shield. In 1989, the Lincoln penny still featured the familiar Lincoln Memorial on its reverse side, a design that had been in circulation since 1959. Although the design itself didn't change in 1989, the year became notable for something else, an error that would later make certain 1989 pennies highly sought after by collectors. Most of the 1989 Lincoln pennies you will encounter today are worth their face value of 1 cent, and they're very common. In fact, millions of these pennies were minted in 1989, and they remain in circulation. A typical 1989 penny in good condition will usually only be worth a few cents above its face value, depending on its wear and tear. However, what if I told you that there is a rare version of the 1989 Lincoln penny that could be worth millions? Well, that's where the excitement begins. There is a rare minting error that occurred in 1989 that has turned some of these coins into prized collector's items. One of these rare pennies was even sold for $1.6 million at auction. So, what's the deal with this rare 1989 penny? Let's find out. What makes the 1989 Lincoln penny so valuable? It all comes down to a rare minting error, specifically a double die error. A double die error occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once during the minting process, causing the image on the coin to appear doubled or misaligned. This kind of error results in a coin that looks different from the regular, correctly struck versions. In the case of the 1989 Lincoln penny, the double die error occurred on the obverse side of the coin, particularly affecting the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The doubling on these inscriptions was subtle but noticeable. You could see a faint second image of the letters and words, creating a shadow effect or a ghost appearance of the text. The error was so rare that when these coins were discovered, they were quickly scooped up by collectors. The rarity of the 1989 Lincoln penny with the double die error, combined with the high demand among coin collectors, has made it one of the most valuable modern coins. In fact, one particular 1989 penny with this double die error sold for an incredible $1.6 million, setting a new record for the coin. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if you have a rare 1989 Lincoln penny worth a small fortune? Here's how you can spot the valuable double die error. 1. Check for doubling on "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The most prominent feature of the double die error is the doubling of the inscriptions on the obverse. On a regular 1989 penny, the word "Liberty" and the phrase "In God We Trust" will appear crisp and clear. However, on a penny with the double die error, you will see a slight doubling or shadow effect on these letters. This is a clear sign that the coin has the error. 2. Examine the date. Another area where you might notice doubling is the year 1989. If you carefully look at the digits, you could see some doubling or misalignment in the numbers. This is another indication that the coin could be a double die error penny. 3. Look for clear and crisp strikes. While doubling is the key indicator, the overall conditio, hello, coin collectors and history enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a coin that you might have overlooked in your change, the 2017 Lincoln penny. While most pennies might seem ordinary, this particular one has a fascinating story, and some rare versions of it could be worth an absolute fortune. Imagine finding a penny worth just 1 cent, only to discover it's actually worth $1.1 million. Sound too good to be true? Stick with me to learn why this 2017 penny might just be hiding a secret fortune. Before we get into the 2017 penny, let's take a moment to appreciate the long history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny has been a symbol of American currency since its introduction in 1909. Designed by artist Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's likeness, Abraham Lincoln. Over the years, the design has evolved, but one thing has remained the same: the iconic image of Lincoln on the obverse and various reverse designs, including the Lincoln Memorial and the Shield we see today. The Lincoln penny has seen many changes, especially over the last few decades. One notable event came in 2017 when the U.S. Mint made an announcement that would change the way we look at pennies. While the design itself wasn't drastically altered, this particular penny featured a significant minting mark of the letter P, which hadn't appeared on Lincoln pennies since World War II. Let's talk about the 2017 Lincoln penny's history. In 2017, the U.S. Mint made the decision to add a P mint mark to the Lincoln cent for the first time since 1943. This was a major milestone, as it commemorated the 225th anniversary of the Philadelphia Mint. The mint mark P on coins typically signifies that they were minted in Philadelphia, and it's a symbol that collectors take very seriously. Up until 2017, only coins like dimes, quarters, and half dollars had featured the P mint mark in modern years. So, the 2017 Lincoln penny became a historic coin because it marked the return of this mint mark to the popular penny. Though the 2017 penny was not designed with any special commemorative theme or major changes to its design, the introduction of the P mint mark made it a sought-after piece for collectors, particularly because it was a milestone coin. However, not all 2017 pennies are the same. Some of them have unique characteristics that make them even more valuable than others, with some worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's where things get really interesting. While most 2017 Lincoln pennies are worth just 1 cent, there are rare error coins that can fetch an incredible price. The most famous of these is the 2017 penny with an extreme doubling error, also known as the double die error. This is when a coin is struck multiple times during the minting process, causing the design to appear doubled on certain areas of the coin. In the case of the 2017 penny, the most common areas where the doubling appears are the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The double design can make the text blurry or out of alignment, making it easy to spot with a sharp eye. These error coins are extremely rare, and when they do surface, collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. One particular 2017 Lincoln penny with a double die error was sold for an astonishing $1.1 million. This coin, which was graded in near-perfect condition, became the talk of the numismatic world when it was auctioned off for such a high price. The rarity and clarity of the error were what made this coin so valuable, and it set a new precedent for the value of error pennies. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare and valuable 2017 pennies? It all comes down to the minting error. Here's what you should look for. 1. Look for doubling on the text. The most notable feature of the double die error is the doubling effect on the inscriptions, particularly the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse. The doubling may not be immediately noticeable, so use a magnifying glass to get a closer look at the text. If the letters appear blurry or if there's a noticeable shadow effect, you might have found an error coin. 2. Examine the date and mint mark. The 2017 penny is also valuable because of its P mint mark. Check to ensure that the P is clearly visible on the reverse side of the coin. The mint mark is located beneath the Lincoln Memorial, and the addition of the P mint mark in 2017 is part of what makes this coin special to collectors. 3. Check the coin's condition. Like any collectible, the condition of the "Hey there" Coin enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever thought that pennies were just pennies, today's video might just change your mind. We're diving deep into the 2005 Lincoln penny, a coin that, on the surface, seems ordinary. But, believe it or not, there's a rare version of this penny that could make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard that right. A Lincoln penny from 2005 could be worth as much as $1.2 million. Stay tuned to learn about the fascinating history, value, and why some 2005 pennies are worth more than a small fortune. Before we jump into the specifics of the 2005 penny, let's take a step back and explore the history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's image. Over the years, the design of the penny has undergone a few changes, but the most significant one came in 2009. When the U.S. Mint issued a series of 4 different reverse designs to mark the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. These designs were meant to reflect key moments in Lincoln's life and career, and they featured images ranging from his early childhood in Kentucky to his time as president. 2005, however, was a bit of a transitional year. There were no major changes to the design of the penny itself, but the Lincoln cent was in the midst of its transformation that would culminate in 2009 with those special bicentennial reverses. But, not all 2005 pennies are alike. Some of them have hidden features that make them incredibly valuable. Now, here's where things get interesting. In 2005, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies as part of their regular minting process. The standard 2005 Lincoln penny features a classic image of Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, the front, and on the reverse, there is the traditional design showing the Lincoln Memorial. But while most of these coins are worth only 1 cent, there are a handful of 2005 pennies that could be worth a lot more than that. The most famous and valuable version of the 2005 penny is the rare 2005 double-die error coin. This coin, which is the result of a minting error, has 2 impressions of the reverse design, making the details appear doubled or blurry. If you happen to come across one of those 2005 pennies with a noticeable double-die error, it could be worth a fortune. But how did a penny like this end up being worth $1.2 million? Let's break it down. In 2005, the U.S. Mint accidentally produced a small number of pennies with this double-die error, and one of these rare coins made headlines when it was sold at auction for over $1 million. It wasn't just any regular double-die coin, it had an exceptionally clear error and was in great condition, making it highly sought after by collectors. So, how can you tell if you have a 2005 Lincoln penny that could be worth big money? Well, the most important thing to look for is the double-die error. Here's how to spot one. 1. Look for a doubling effect. The most obvious sign of a double-die error is doubling on the lettering or numbers. On a regular penny, the design is crisp and clear. On a double-die error, the text will appear blurry, doubled, or out of alignment. Common areas to check are the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse, and the date on the reverse. 2. Examine the coin's condition. A coin's value is heavily dependent on its condition. Coins with errors that are in good or mint condition are worth a lot more. If your 2005 penny shows signs of wear and tear, it might still be valuable, but not as much as one that is uncirculated or nearly perfect. 3. Check for other errors. While the double-die error is the most famous one, there are other minting errors that could make your penny more valuable. Look for things like off-center strikes or a coin with the wrong metal composition, though these types of errors are rarer and not as common. If you think you've found a rare 2005 penny, the next step is to determine its value. While most irregular 2005 pennies are worth just 1 cent, rare errors can command a premium price. The 2005 double-die error, for example, could be worth anywhere from hundreds to millions of dollars, depending on the quality and clarity of the error. However, keep in mind that not every error penny will fetch a massive price. Most 2005 pennies with minor errors are only worth a little more than their face value, so you'll need to make sure that your penny has the right features to be considered valuable. To be certain, You can get your coin appraised by a professional numismatist or take it to a Hello, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a fascinating topic to dive into: the 2007 D Lincoln penny. Now, most people would look at a 2007 D penny and think it's just another coin. But what if I told you that this penny could actually be worth over $1 million? That's right, there's a rare version of the 2007 D Lincoln penny that fetched a jaw-dropping price of $1.3 million. Stick around as we uncover the history, value, and rare error that makes this coin so special. Before we explore the 2007 D penny, let's take a quick look at the history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design was created by Victor David Brenner and featured the first portrait of a U.S. president on a coin. Over the years, the design of the Lincoln penny has gone through several changes, but the image of Lincoln remains central. For nearly a century, the Lincoln penny design remained relatively consistent. However, in 2009, to mark the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint issued a series of 4 different reverse designs for the penny, each representing an important moment in Lincoln's life. But 2007, the year our coin is from, was before these commemorative changes. The reverse design from that year is still the traditional one, showing the Lincoln Memorial, which had been used since 1959. 2007 also marked a year of high minting activity for the U.S. Mint, with millions of pennies being produced in the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark. The standard 2007 D penny was just like any other, with no major alterations to its design or metal content, making it appear ordinary at first glance. However, as we know in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the ordinary can hold extraordinary value. Now, let's get into the exciting part of the rare error that turned the 2007 D Lincoln penny into $1 million treasure. While most of the 2007 D pennies minted by the U.S. Mint are worth only 1 cent, there's a small number of these pennies that were struck with the major error, making them highly valuable to collectors. This error is known as a double die or double strike error, and it's one of the most sought-after mistakes in the coin collecting world. So, what exactly is a double die error? In simple terms, a double die error happens when a coin is struck more than once during the minting process. This results in a coin where the design elements like the lettering, numbers, and images appear doubled or misaligned. On a regular, properly minted penny, the inscription "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are crisp and clear, but on a double die error penny, those inscriptions may appear blurry, doubled, or even offset. In the case of the 2007 D Lincoln penny, a small number of coins were struck with this error. The doubling effect was most noticeable on the word "Liberty" and the year 2007 on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. While this might seem like a small flaw, to collectors, it's a big deal. Coins with double die errors are rare, and those with a clear, strong doubling are even rarer. That's what makes the 2007 D penny with this error so valuable. One of these rare double die error pennies was sold as auction for an astounding $1.3 million, setting a new benchmark for what a 2007 D penny could be worth. This specific penny had a very noticeable doubling on the word "Liberty" and the year 2007, and because it was in excellent condition, it attracted the attention of serious coin collectors and investors. Its sale for $1.3 million shocked the numismatic community and proved that even pennies can become extremely valuable with the right error and condition. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare, valuable 2007 D pennies? It's all about looking for the doubling effect caused by the minting error. Here's what to look for. 1. Doubling on the word "Liberty." The most common area where doubling appears on a 2007 D penny is the word "Liberty." Look closely at each letter. If you see a shadow or a second image of the letter next to the original, then you might have an error coin. The doubling effect is usually most noticeable on the top or bottom of the letters. 2. Doubling on the date. Another key area to check is the year 2007 on the coin. If the digits appear blurry or doubled, it's a sign that the coin might be an error. The doubling is often very pronounced on the numbers, which makes it easier to spot. 3. Examine the mint mark. The 2007 D penny has the mint mark D, which signifies that it was minted in Denver. While the mint mark itself isn't part of the double die error, it